Hey guys, how you doing? Luna here with a new video for the channel. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another episode of the Overrated series where I take your favorite artists and ask the question, are they overrated? Today we have quite a special episode because we're talking about no other than the man, Kanye West. I wanted to do a video on Kanye for quite a long time now because he has been saying some really weird and dark shit. You know, being a Kanye fan every day gets harder and harder, but you know what? I'm not here, this is not a drama channel. I'm not here to talk about what he said. I'm only here to talk about the music, and given the fact that everyone seems to be hating him now with they have the reasons, but I think it's important to separate the artist from the art. So today we're going to ask the question, as an artist, is Kanye West overrated? As you know, in this type of videos, I usually take different categories, for example, influence, popularity, discography, and songs. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. So go ahead and leave your opinion down below if you think that Kanye is overrated or not. Because remember, this is only my personal opinion. You don't have to agree. I'll repeat it so you understand that if you have your own, you can leave it down below in the comments and I'll make sure to check it out. There's not a lot of people watching my videos. I'm definitely going to see your comment, so you have nothing to lose. You could start a nice conversation with me down there in the comment box. So what are you waiting for? Also remember that if you enjoy this video, you can subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading quite frequently now, so you're not going to waste your subscription if you subscribe to my channel, because you're going to have content every single day. I can guarantee it. With that being said, guys, let's just go on with the video. I'm talking about popularity first because, as Kanye said,
we don't give a fuck! Jesus! We don't give a fuck!
Because honestly, it's not really important. I only care about the music. If the music is good, then I don't really give a fuck if only 100 people listen to your albums. But with that being said, saying that Kanye is overrated in terms of popularity is probably the most stupid thing you could argue, because the man is constantly on the news. Not always because of his music, I'm not gonna lie. Most of the times is for the outrageous thing that he's saying. I would love to see a parallel universe where, how popular would Kanye be if he wouldn't have done the thing with Taylor Swift? It wouldn't, if he wouldn't have put the MAGA hat, if he wouldn't have said that slavery was a choice. But, we're in this universe, and in this universe, Kanye is one of the most popular rappers, not only of this time, but of all time. It doesn't matter the transitions that hip hop has gone through. He always manages to adapt to the times and make some great music with every single, era that he's played in. Kanye is at the same level of popularity he is now to what he was when he started dating Kim Kardashian, to what he was when he released The College Dropout. Kanye has it's always someone that is on the news no matter the time you're in, and I think that's quite enough to say that he is not overrated. I'm not going to waste that much time in this category because it's not important. He is really popular. Everyone fucking loves him or hates him. A lot of people is talking about him, but no one really gives a shit, because when you're listening to the album, you're not focused on how many people listen to this music. Either you like it or you don't. So yeah, he's not overrated in terms of popularity, but no one gives a shit. Now let's go with the lyrics. Again, this usually is really important for a rapper, but we're going to make an exception when it comes to Kanye, because it is true that with Kanye, you're usually looking for a nice beat, some really good orchestration in terms of, the whole album, some really sick flows and performances. Lyrics are not the hot plate, at least not in the new Kanye. You have some great tracks like Father Stretch My Hands with some nice beat, a good production, a good rhythm to the track, and then he comes in saying about how he fucked a model that had bleach on her asshole, and that caused him to have bleach on his t-shirt, and he felt like an asshole. So I'm not going to explain myself either. You know the amount of questionable lines and questionable stories that Kanye has told throughout his career. And many people say that, early Kanye was really dope on some lyric shit, but that's only a few times. In tracks like Jesus Walks, maybe you could find some highlights in terms of him as a lyricist, but even that, The College Dropout has still some really questionable bars. Quite a few. It seems that when Kanye starts to talk about sex, everything goes south. The man doesn't really know how to be sexy. Bound 2, a track that everyone loves. Me personally, I do enjoy the track quite a lot. Has the least romantic shit I've seen in my life. Is this supposed to be a love song? Did he perform this to Kim Kardashian and trying to be romantic? And I don't know, man. If Kim Kardashian fell in love with Kanye due to that track, then I can definitely see why she went for Pete Davidson next. I'm just gonna put some random crazy ass lyrics from Kanye on the screen and let you decide if he's overrated in terms of lyrics or not. I like it. So in terms of lyrics, I don't think that Kanye is overrated. He's definitely not the best lyricist out there, but no one really says that. So no, he's not overrated. Now we'll go with influence. This is kind of a hard thing. I know that a lot of people seem to be under the impression that Kanye has been extremely influential, and let me tell you something, he has. At the beginning of his career, he did a lot of production decisions, a lot of, pop, hip-hop crossovers that were really influential and kind of defined the sound of rap in the early 2010s. But after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I don't think that Kanye participated in the influence of rap music anymore. I think that after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, he only grabbed influence from other movements that were being made at the time. Nothing wrong with that. I don't hate it. For example, in the album Yeezus, he clearly was taking influence from the electronic and industrial hip-hop scene that was going on with artists like Death Grips. And I like the album. I think it sounds good. Some really good ideas came out of that record, so I don't have a problem. But saying that he has been influential with albums like Yeezus, The Life of Pablo, and Ye would be a complete lie. He isn't. Nobody is taking influence from Kanye, at least from the musical point of view, because him as an artist, his persona as a celebrity has been pretty influential. There are a lot of wannabe Kanyes out there trying to say some political shit that don't make sense, and a lot of people call you a genius. A lot of people, whether it is, I don't know, Hobson, Jaden Smith, fucking B.O.B. But that's more from a cultural point of view. I'm here talking about music, not about, politics. So from the musical point of view, I think that Kanye can be quite overrated in terms of his influence, because he has been influential, really influential, but the amount of praise that he receives, and, he's often called the most influential artist of the 21st century, like legit, not only in hip hop, but in all of music. That's a massive exaggeration. He isn't. Ever since, again, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, he hasn't done anything that influential anymore. I'm willing to say that 808's Graduation, a Late Registration, and The College Dropout are quite influential. But after that, there's not that much in it. I do believe that he's ever so slightly, only a little bit, please don't hate me, please understand my point of view, overrated. Now let's go with the most important thing. Basically, you can have all three saying that you are overrated, all the previous categories, all the previous things I just talked about, all of that. You could argue that they're overrated in that sense, but if they're not overrated in terms of discography, that means that automatically you're not overrated at all. Because albums are the most important thing an artist has. Albums are the thing that defines your legacy. Albums are, the actual songs, the actual music. Not what people perceive from your music, but what the music is really. So that's the reason why I think it's so important for an artist to have good discography. And in Kanye's case, I think that it's fucking pathetic to even consider him being overrated in terms of discography. First of all, his debut album is hands down one of the best hip-hop albums ever. The College Dropout is awesome with songs like All Falls Down, Jesus Walks, just a marvelous album. Late Registration, even though it's not as good as The College Dropout, it's still an amazing album, a bit too long, but it's still an amazing album. Then you have Graduation, an album that seems to indulge a lot of nostalgia into the fans. I don't really know why, but it seems to be the case. It's a great album. It's a great album. Not my favorite album from Kanye, but it's still a really good album. Then you have 808s. Maybe the album itself can be a bit bloated. A lot of unfinished ideas that will later evolve into My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. But it is a really influential album, and it's quite a good listen. It has songs like Heartless and Street Lights, some of the most singer-songwriter Kanye moments. Then you have My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Now, what there is to say about that album that hasn't already been said, I don't know. I do think it's an amazing album. Some of the best rap songs of the decade are in that record. Monster, Runaway, All of the Lights, Lost in the World, an underrated gem for that album. I don't think the album is one of the greatest albums of all time. I wouldn't even call it the best album of the decade. I don't think I would even put it in my top 10, but here's the thing. It's still a great, awesome album, incredibly influential too. I do believe that a lot of ideas were, started with that album and later evolved into the, what the trap scene is at the moment. Then you have Yeezus. I'm pretty sure that a lot of ideas from Yeezus didn't came out the way Kanye wanted them to come out. I do think the album feels a bit rushed, and that's a problem with Kanye that would go on with every other release that he has put out. But it's still a good listen, and an album that I definitely recommend if you haven't, because I know that this album can be quite underrated for a lot of the fans. You either hate it or you love it. I personally just find myself in the middle, like, yeah, it's kind of a good album. You have The Life of Pablo, an album that I enjoy way more than Yeezus, an album that I think is really good. Again, rushed with a lot of ideas that, I think needed more time to grow and evolve into better tracks. I do think that Kanye tried to do My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy 2 with this one and couldn't make it. But, it's still a really good album, one of the best albums from 2016, and definitely better than the bullshit that Drake came up with Views. And a lot of people think that Views is better than The Life of Pablo. No. Then we have Ye from 2018, an album that I personally really enjoy. It's quite underwhelming, only 24 minutes long, but I do believe that the album could have been longer, and that would have made the album better, trying to, develop the themes that he touched in this album even more, being more specific, making more, bigger productions. But I'm happy with the way the album is. I do enjoy that album quite a lot. Then we have Donda, an album that, I feel like he basically tried to do My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy number 3 and couldn't quite do it, but it's still a good listen. I still enjoy that album quite a lot. I think that, again, it feels rushed. He kept us waiting for a year, and still the album feels rushed. A lot of, ideas that came at the last minute and were just added into the album, or ideas that he wasn't really sure he wanted to put in, so at the end he just put them in, which evolves into the album being 27 tracks long. Like, that's way too much for this type of record, but you know what, it's still a good listen, better than CLB. You can see that I didn't include Jesus is King because it's like an episode that I would like to forget that ever happened. I don't like that record. I think that, okay, so production is nice, some beats are nice, but the whole album as a concept, I think it tackles Christianity in a way that's so stupid and childish and just so convenient for Kanye's actions, trying to put Jesus in front of everything he does, so a lot of people cannot disagree with it. Like, yeah, I killed this woman in the name of Jesus, and so no one can really go against you, because if you're going against me, you're going against Jesus. Fucking ridiculous. But if you actually pay attention to what I'm saying, you know that there's only one album in Kanye's discography that I dislike, which is Jesus is King, and it's kind of like whatever album that he rushed in because of all the things that he was doing at the time. Kanye's discography is one of the most consistent and well done in the history of rap music, not really because every album is great, but because every album is solid. It doesn't matter the listen, you always have a solid listen, you always have some great beats, you always have some great performances, you always have an amazing level of production. Ever since his debut to Donda, the production is always stellar, production is always on point. So based on that, I wouldn't even dare to say as a joke that Kanye is overrated in terms of discography. I do think that he kind of, has this bad habit of rushing the albums, causing the albums to suffer a lot in terms of, cohesiveness and overall enjoyability. But even with that, the albums are still good. The albums are at the very least solid, and that's pretty much enough to say that he's not overrated in terms of discography. And with that being said, I think it's time for us to come to a conclusion.
I see good things about Hitler also. I love every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
And that conclusion is that, Kanye is not overrated in terms of nothing, because a lot of people seem to grab, everything that he has been saying recently and in the past, because let me tell you, what he's saying right now, he has been saying this type of shit for a long time to kind of downplay his discography and who he is as a person. And I don't really give a fuck about what he's saying, honestly. Kanye can go and kill a bunch of children in an orphanage tomorrow, and I wouldn't care. Like, how would that affect his music? It makes no sense for me to just say, I'm not going to listen to a Kanye album ever again because of what he's saying. Like, I really don't care. The guy has $3 billion in the bank, and he will continue to have $3 billion in the bank whether I listen to his music or not. I'm only denying myself to listen to music I like because I'm doing something for, the Jews or something for any other minority that Kanye has offended. I don't care. I'm going to listen to his music because I love his music. I like old Kanye as much as I like new Kanye. I would say that old Kanye has better music, but new Kanye is still really good. If he tomorrow says that he's releasing an album, I'm buying the album. I'm going to enjoy the album. I hope so. And I'm going to, show my support for the record. I don't care for him as a person. I honestly hope that a lot of his fans started focusing more on his mental state rather than saying that he's graduation and applauding every fucking bullshit that he says. But that's not my business. I'm a real fan, and as a real fan, I listen to the music, and that's pretty much it. And I acknowledge the fact that what we're seeing right now is a mental breakdown, not someone being woke, not someone escaping out of the matrix, not all of this bullshit that a bunch of idiots online that have from 15 to 19-year-old are saying. The same thing has happened with Andrew Tate, I don't know, Ben Shapiro, all of these fucking idiots that love to say that you're being manipulated by the system, and they are the ones manipulating you even more than the system itself. So yeah, pretty much, fuck it all. Kanye is not overrated. I fucking love almost every single one of his albums, and the one that I don't love, I think they're solid. So yeah, I'm gonna keep enjoying his music even if he continues in this weird Anakin Skywalker millennial path. So yeah. That'll be the end of the video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos that I upload. I'll continue to upload videos about Kanye. The next video is me ranking his discography, and the next video is me comparing old Kanye versus new Kanye, who's better. If you want to see those videos, then make sure you hit that bell button so you get notified when I do. And with that being said, once again, I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that I can see you guys soon with a new video. But until then, bye.